HuddleCamHD presents Back to the Basics Live, a high-definition broadcast Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. Back to the Basics is all about video conferencing, full of product line tutorials and best practices. Bring your questions for a live Q&A session in the post-show. We review online meeting and live streaming technology every week during our advanced learning sessions. And now, Back to the Basics Live.
Hello everybody, welcome to Back to the Basics Live.
I'm Tess Protesto.
And I am Paul Richards. And today is episode 1 of Back to the Basics from HuddleCamHD.
Brand new show we're doing. Pretty excited about it. It's similar to our sister company PTZ Optics, Back to the Basics show, but we're going to be focusing on all of the HuddleCamHD products with this show.
Yes, and we have quite a few different products right in front of us here. All the different HuddleCamHD cameras, they all have the same remote control. Before we jump right in, I wanted to mention that we are live streaming on Facebook every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We are not doing a pre-show as we've done before because we want to keep, there is no way to edit these videos and chop them up for distribution on Facebook unless you use the scheduled live show, which means go live right away, which is fine. That's what we're going to go with, so we can boost this out to our audience. So let's go ahead and dig into this remote control test.
Alrighty. So the IR remote control comes with each of our cameras, and it's just pretty a straightforward way to control all of our cameras. So you have some basic features. You can zoom. You have a fast option and a slow option, which is pretty cool with these remotes. You can also pan and tilt your camera as well with the arrows here.
Yeah, so Tess has the large remote next to us. I have one right in front of me here. So I'm going to use this one to demonstrate some of the advanced features. And if you have any questions along the way, let us know. We have a live integration with Facebook, which will actually display your comments right here. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. We always take a look at the videos. So you can see here that I'm controlling a HuddleCam 3X. This is our most popular camera, actually. I am controlling a HuddleCam 20X. And over here, I have a HuddleCam 30X. So these three cameras together are all being controlled by a single remote. So how do we do that? Well, on the HuddleCams, there's actually an IR select button on the back of each camera. And I'm going to go to this camera feed to show this. So if you can just hold that up, Tess, and I will zoom into it really quickly with this camera. You can see on the back that there's an IR select button there. And this is on 2. So you can have it on IR Select 1, IR Select 2, or IR Select 3. And that is what tells us which camera will operate on camera 1, 2, and 3. And I'll just briefly mention, this is just a 10-minute video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but one of the number one things that people say is, my IR remote's not working. And it's because someone has pushed IR camera 2 or 3, and they're pointing it at this camera and saying it's not working. Well, all you have to do is hit camera 1. That's when it's set by default.
Okay, so you can switch between the cameras simply by just selecting the camera number.
Yes. And these IR remotes work from basically 25 to 30 feet away. Okay. So if you do need to control the cameras from further away, we have a joystick controller. I've got it right here. I'll just pull it up just really quickly, which you can extend the cabling hundreds of feet.
This is going to give you some more options for production purposes as well.
And you can control up to 7 cameras with this over Sony Visca, as opposed to just 3 with the IR remote. We do have some churches and different customers that use, more than 1 or 2. So let's just go down the list here. The first thing I wanted to show is how to set a preset, because you can see that's kind of the top level there. So let's see, which camera am I on now? So let's do the camera 2 in the middle here. So all you have to do is hit the button that you want. So let's say number 1. And then you just hit set. And now I'm going to move the location, and I'm going to hit number 2 and set. And now all I have to do is hit one call, and it will go back to that position. Oh, sorry, did I hit the camera button by accident? 2 call, and it will go back to that position. 1 call, and it will go back to that position. And it's doing so extremely slowly because I have the
Now, about how many presets
PTZ
can
in that
a
section.
person set with their IR remote?
So with
Is
the
it
IR
same
remote, you
with-
can do 64 presets.
64 presets.
And I think I have this
Quite a
one
few
set
presets.
to an extremely slow PTZ because it's fully zoomed in. So let me do this with camera with the 3x here. So again, we'll do 1 and set, and then we'll go over and we'll do 2 and set, and then all I have to do is hit call number 1 or 2 and call, and it'll go back and forth between those positions. I think I have this one set to a really slow zoom, so it's taking a while.
That kind of leads us to another feature that you can do with the
The
remote.
slow and fast pan tilt zoom, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do a fast zoom and a slow zoom. We actually have 2 different areas here for that. And in between there is the OSD menu, the on-screen display menu. And Tess, you put together a nice little cheat sheet here for what these buttons do.
Yes, so the dome option is going to allow you to control the motor of the cameras, which would include the speed of the panning and the zooming and whatnot. The lens option allows you to have the image control, color, the iris, the exposure, and so on and so forth. Excuse me. The L limit and R limit stands for left limit and right limit, allows you to set a preset scanning option for between 2 different cameras. Is that correct?
Yes, that is what that one does. So that's a very interesting, and I'll actually put the cameras in scan mode for a second here so you can kind of see them in action. You'll see that what it'll do is it'll go all the way to the left and then all the way to the right. And this is really popular for like pre-shows.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a pre-show for a large concert or a church or something like that, and you just want to scan the area automatically back, left, and right throughout your broadcast.
Just to give your audience an idea of maybe what's going on behind the scenes, and so it's not just a static image,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Works really nicely with vMix and Wirecast and
I'm
other
still trying to
solutions.
get our chat up, but that's all right.
Well, we can look at it over here as well. And we'll pull that in if there's any interesting questions.
Yeah, I want to make
throughout
sure
the
we
live
keep up with that as
broadcast.
well.
So we looked at that, and then
The digital zoom.
the
was
digital
the
zoom
one
button is one that I wanted to show, which is at the bottom there, the D zoom. That is available for all of the models from the 10x G3 up. So 10x G3, 20x, the 3x wide, the 20x, and the 30x. And what that means is once you've used the optical zoom in a camera allows you to zoom in and change the field of view into a tight, narrow field of view so you can see an object very closely,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't degrade the quality. So when the lens is moving, it changes the light going onto the sensor. Now, once you've got that information on the sensor itself can digitally enhance portions of the sensor, but it actually ends up pixelating slightly.
Okay, so it's not as clear of quality, but you know, if there's something that you don't need that clear of quality, you just need to see close up, it would work for that.
For example, let's say you're using Zoom video conferencing that's only 720p, but you've got a 1080p sensor, and all of our cameras are mainly 1080p. You could zoom in and actually not degrade the quality because Zoom is only really accepting 720. So
Gotcha.
that's the reason why you would use that, and that pretty much covers it except for the rev button I wanted to show here. The rev button will flip the image. So if you are mounting the camera upside down, you can hit the rev button, and the rev button will flip
That's
the
definitely
camera.
handy.
The other thing I almost forgot to mention is that the 3X, the 10X 720, and the 3X and the 10X 720, they have, let me put this over here, a different way. There is no dip switches on the back, so they have a different way of changing which setting is on the camera. Let's see if I can get that just like that. Perfect. Hopefully you can see that. Basically, instead of having that IR select button, there's dip switches here, and there's a little cheat sheet here that allows you to change it from camera 1, 2, or 3. So those are the IR remote cameras there. So for the 3X, the 10X 720, and the Gen 1 10Xs, you can switch those dip switches there in order to assign it to IR remote 1, 2, or 3. So a little different on the 3X models as opposed to the larger base, higher end camera models. So that is our broadcast. I think we covered everything we wanted to.
Yeah,
there is a
definitely the
reset
main
button
features.
here. That reset button will reset the camera to factory default. So
If you ever screw it up big time, go ahead and press the reset and it will get you back to basics.
but
No
I
pun
think
intended.
yeah, back to basics. And I really think we did a pretty good job there.
Yeah.
Showing our broadcast. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you're watching on Facebook, hang out for the post show. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in for this week's Back to the Basics Live. Your participation drives the conversation forward for technology enthusiasts around the world. Looking for more? Engage with industry professionals just like you in our Facebook user group. See you next week on Back to the Basics Live.